second song on the EP is called Blueprints. Where did we write this? We wrote this at your old place. No, we wrote it.
Oh no, initially, yeah. No, we wrote it in my old place. Most of our songs just like written in our living rooms.
Yeah.
Often very quietly for fear of like annoying neighbours.
Bad life will never know. Blueprinted plans, holding back an ocean, leaving it unbroken.
We started writing it and then took it up to work with Ben in Leeds, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was really just before the first lockdown. And
yeah, it was like February. Was it?
I think it was early March.
It was early March.
Really,
yeah.
just before, and like it was. I think we were kind of aware that like stuff was about to happen. Yeah. So making the most of.
I remember driving back and being like, "Oh, it's fine. Nothing will happen. It'll be grand."
Yeah.
But then also at the same time, we were like, "Wouldn't it be really funny if we just got?" I think we just signed to Project Melody.
Yeah, we just signed.
And we were like, if we've just got this thing we've both been striving for, and then the world ends. And the world did end.
Yeah, it was kind of a sweet moment of irony, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think we wrote the second verse with Ben, I think, as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we wrote that while we were at the studio.
Yeah.
And I remember like really talking with him about like how we wanted to produce it as well, and like kind of going for this more like cinematic sound. I remember you recorded this like, guitar line that kind of actually reminds me of James Bond.
yeah.
Like it's suddenly really badass. And I think Blueprints again, like in terms of the song meaning, it's very much in that kind of vein of Same World, Different Eyes. Like we're talking about this kind of like parallel life running beside you, and that like you can make one decision that completely kind of changes things, but actually that's just, you've got to kind of accept that that's how life goes.
That was another one I had an idea for the music video.
We did make a music video for that. We'll talk about those later.
It ended up being quite different to the idea, but it was like a high street kind of loads of derelict shops, but you'd kind of walk past the shop and you'd see
you love your derelict shops.
I love derelict shops. It's just
Billy just wants to live in the apocalypse, basically.
Southend High Street, basically. Unfortunately,
is the apocalypse.
But you kind of like look in and you'd see like, you know, bits of snippets of your life kind of in each shop.
So I remember when we wrote Blueprints, I think the opening riff was like a little bit more complicated. It was more like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's better having that space for sure.
Cool. So the guitar riff,
I think we wrote it. You just must have just came to you.
No, I was going to say, can you get enough reverb? No, you can't get enough reverb. Yeah, we wrote it on the recording day, didn't we? I think.
No.
We wrote
this before, but we wrote it on keys.
Yeah.
And then, that sound is obviously really nice on the guitar. That like kind of London Grammar style, like with the kind of quite plucked but big reverb.
Yeah. And then we've got the Acoustasonic behind it, just doing like single hits because we tried to like strum it and it was just too busy, so it was good to just accentuate with that downstroke.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the track rides on, really, just like those bits, and then everything else kind of fits around it, really. Yeah, there's loads of, like, obviously you never get to hear the track that extends, but there's some really nice little proper like whispered parts in there.
Yeah, I remember trying to do that.
And your harmony like
well, then also like it's funny because it's quite clashy, and I really liked that. Of like, I think we weren't sure whether to keep that in.
Yeah.
But it kind of adds to the tension quite nicely in that bit.
What's the thing as well? We go from the G major to the E major.
Oh right, yeah. Major. So instead of like going to the minor, we turn it into a major.
Yeah.
That's like dust in the sunlight.
Yeah.
My dad calls that like the dust in the sunlight chord. I don't know why it reminds me of James Bond, but it really does.
It's quite James Bondy.
It's got that kind of.
It was so nice to play that bit, just like proper rock out on it. And then we found like the sound on the mini log. It was like the mini log version of like a really screechy guitar solo.
Yeah, it was really like distorted.
Yeah, it was great. But that was up until that point. That was the kind of heaviest we'd got on the track. Really,
yeah, and I also remember like because we came back. We had like 2 days in the studio, didn't we? We came back I think on the second day, and Ben was like, "Oh, I've recorded some like MIDI strings. I hope it's not too cheesy." But actually, like it was It works so well, especially like contrasted with that electric guitar line. So.
And there's a bit going into the first chorus as well. That run up.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.